to work, and I'ma gauge my progress by the sign of the word. Now I ain't yet a success, but yes, the word that I stress, cause by the time you hear the CD count the steps.
Hey yo, we all self-conscious. I'm just the first to admit it. End scene. That's it. That's the only line I'm trying to let y'all know about right now. Is we all self-conscious. I'm just the first to admit it. That's the All Falls Down by Kanye West, right? That's what it is that everybody's self-conscious, right? Admit it. It's all good. Everybody's sitting there. Listen, if you working hard, you're going to be self-conscious. If you not working hard, you're going to be self-conscious. Everybody in the world is self-conscious, right? So let's kick off this Make It Happen Monday one more time with that. We all self-conscious. I'm just the first to admit it, right? My name is Pablo Rivera, and I'm planning on the fact that you're going to be motivated and inspired today to be able to take on the rest of this week and make all the rest of your days phenomenal with today as the jump-off point, right? So check this out. What I'm going to talk about today is about developing your core values, right? Develop your core values. Don't be self-conscious about what you don't got. Develop your core values. It don't take a college degree to improve your core values. I was like, to increase to whatever. And that's how come I had that little pause moment. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a droid or a clone or whatever the new things that everybody talk about, right? But anyways, is don't be self-conscious about what you don't got, right? Is what you do have is you got some value system, right? And that's what you need to live out. Is you need to live out that value system, your core values, right? You got to stop living in your feelings, right? I feel like they're not going to accept me. I feel like I don't have the proper credentials to be in that room. I feel like somebody's not going to accept what it is that I'm saying. Get out your feelings, man. Get out of your feelings. Success is not a game about I feel good about it. Matter of fact, success is a game that you got to put in that grind, that you got to get dirty. You got to put in that work. You see what I'm saying? And that's not an easy breezy type of lifestyle. You see what I'm saying? So that's why, again, I'm going to bring it up. This is like the third Monday in a row. If you ain't about that life, then you can't have that goal. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not being specific because I don't know what your goal is. You see what I'm saying? But if you ain't about that life, if you ain't ready to roll up them sleeves, if you ain't ready to get dirty, if you ain't ready to get some dirt in them fingernails, if you ain't ready to sweat, right, then change your goal up, because it's an impossibility. Because I could sit here until I'm blue in the face and give you every motivational and inspirational story and anecdote and whatever, right? But if you don't have it in you, if you haven't made up the decision in your own mind and in your own body, heart, soul, and spirit, but we might as well just hang it up, man. I'm telling you, let's hang it up because it ain't happening, right? But again, let me bring it back, because what I'm talking about today is developing your core values, using your core values, right? So what am I talking about? I'm talking about honor, right? I'm talking about integrity. I'm talking about respect. I'm talking about being a hard worker. I'm talking about being kind, a straight shooter, motivated, being inspirational in your actions, not just your words, right? So now that's what I'm talking about, core values, right? You get too caught up with what you don't have. Why? Everybody's their own biggest critic, right? Everybody is their own biggest critic, including myself. I was the same thing, right? I was my biggest critic. Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you a little story about this being your biggest critic thing. Is that way back in the day, I was chilling on the block, right? I had my own little apartment, right, with me, my brother, and another one of my friends, right? And we was in there, and it was the spot, right? You know what I mean? It was the spot. We used to chill and chill hard body there, right? Well, I used to do whatever it is that I used to do up on the front porch, you know what I'm saying? And a friend of mine, he was a manager or director, something like that, in a health club for personal trainers, right? And he was like, yo, Pablo, man, you got skills. You got skills, man. You got that gift of gab. I'm telling you, you could be a salesperson, and you don't need to be about doing all of this and about this life. You can go. And I said, look, man, let me stop you right there. Now, I was still chunky. You know what I'm saying? I was like skinny fat. You know what I'm saying? I would walk down the street with a hoodie on or whatever, and you would be like, oh, that dude, he's whatever, right? But underneath, there was no cuts. You know what I mean? There was no like, impressive body shape. It wasn't there, right? You know what I'm saying? So I told him, I said, look, man, I ain't going to do it. I ain't going to do it because if I looked at myself, I wouldn't buy training off me, right? So how am I going to put myself out there and try to sell personal training when I wouldn't buy personal training off myself, right? And not to mention, I didn't even know how to train nobody, right? So, yo, man, my boy, Chaz, thank you, you know what I'm saying? Because that was really one of the first motivations or tasks or whatever you want, opportunities I had to pull myself out of that other lifestyle, right? So salute, my boy, right? But anyway, so he told me, he was like, yo, not only am I going to train you on how to get in shape, right? So that you can get past that mental block, right? But I'm also going to train you how to pass the personal training certification examination. And I was like, bet. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what he started to do. So, you know, I got my butt up out of bed and I made it to the gym, right? At 5:30 in the morning, 3 days a week. And he used to train me and he would be like, all right, bet, because he started his job at like 6:30, 7 o'clock sometimes. So he was like, yo, you got to come before that. I was like, bet. Again, right? It's my core values. I'm going to stick to what it is that I say. You can trust in what I say because I got integrity. I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do, even if nobody's there watching me do it, right? Cool. Let me keep on going on with this story, right? So I go in there and I start getting in shape, right? I start doing what I'm doing and stuff like that. Check this out. I never even had my certification yet, and people are already coming up to me asking me about personal training. I didn't even have the job yet. You see what I'm saying? I was just in there every day and I was doing what it is I had to do. So they like, all right, bet. Long story short, now I'm fit. I get my certification. I get the job. We good to go. Wouldn't you know it, I became the #1 personal trainer for months in a row. After about 3 months, I figured out how to do it. You know what I'm saying? It was me and this other dude in there. And we was #1 personal trainer in sales throughout the entire country. And we just kept going back to back, back to back. Either he was #1 personal trainer or I was #1 personal trainer. We would just go back to back, right? So, yo, I had an epiphany, right? I had an aha moment. I had this light bulb, you know what I'm saying? I mean, granted, it was spoon-fed to me, but I realized that I can use this gift, my voice, my words, my ability to communicate, and I can use that for my benefit. You see what I'm saying? At the time, I used the word gift right now, but I didn't realize it was a gift, right? I didn't realize that it was my gift that I can give the people. But I realized that it was some skill that I had that I was able to utilize with very little effort that I can do better than most people, right? So I was like, yo, this is something. And I just started practicing my skills and I started sharpening my sword. You know what I'm saying? They didn't know what I didn't know. They just knew that I was there. I was able to effectively communicate what it was that I was going to do. Check this out. I would go back and talk to other personal trainers and be like, yo, I got this dude ready to buy from me, but I don't know how to put together the workout program. And they would explain to me how to do it. I would learn it. I would internalize it. And then I'd be able to communicate that to the client. You see what I'm saying? Yo, they didn't know what I didn't know. And there was people there who had way higher levels of certifications. I had like the lowest mail-in, bottom of the barrel type certification just so I could say I was a certification, but they didn't know that. They just wanted to make sure I was certified. Some of them didn't even know anything about certification. I would tell them they didn't know what they didn't know, but I did. And that's what made me feel some kind of way about getting the job and succeeding, right? But had I let that stand in front of me, I wouldn't have gotten a job and I wouldn't have succeeded and done well in there. You see what I'm saying? Now, I ain't a personal trainer right now. I was like 20, 21 years old. You see what I'm saying? But it was part of the practice. You see what I'm saying? Is they didn't know what I didn't know. And that's the key, is what they did know is they knew I had them values. They knew I was honorable. They saw me every day there at 5:30 in the morning, working out and doing what it was that I had to do. And check this out. After I got the job, I moved it up. I got there at 5 in the morning so that I can get my workout in. And I wanted my first training session to be at 6 o'clock. Paid personal training session. You see what I'm saying? And then I would just rock that out all night. And then at 9 o'clock, I'd get my second workout in. So I was there literally all day, all night doing what it was that I had to do. You see what I'm saying? With the lowest level training certification, nobody knew anything. Dude basically took me up off the block, worked me out, trained me. And next thing you know, I'm in there and I'm doing it the best that I can. You see what I'm saying? So stop living in your feelings, right? And just start making things happen. You see what I'm saying? It was my values that did it for me. It was not a college degree. It wasn't the years of experience that I had in personal training. It wasn't the word of mouth. It wasn't the social media push. It wasn't none of that. I'm telling you, it was none of that. It was my core values. You hear me? I need you to follow what I'm saying. It was my values that got me into the room. You see what I'm saying? Is that there's so many blockers that you can't even get into the room. Is that people will be holding you down. They'll be pushing you back. They giving you every reason why you can't make it in this room. You don't got a degree. You ain't got experience. Don't nobody know who you are. I don't care because I can make it happen. My name is Paulo Rivera and watch me make it happen. Ha ha. You don't even know because once I got in the room, that was my opportunity. That was my opportunity to shine. That was my opportunity to succeed. All that nonsense that I was doing on the block didn't have to happen no more. You see what I'm saying? I opened the door, and not because I had the prerequisites that were required to get that door open. I got that door open because I kicked it in with my values. You see what I'm saying? And that's what we need to start doing. And how does that happen? How is it that I can focus on my values? How is it that I can speak that positive self-talk in me and say all of those things that I don't have don't matter right now? Because my circumstance is not a negative, okay? It's not because of, and it may have been because of some mistakes that I made. It may just be because of happenstance, but the circumstance, the situation that I'm in right now is not a good thing, nor is it a bad thing. The good thing is the recognition of where I am so that I can start taking actionable steps to move where I am to wherever it is that I'm trying to go. Y'all feeling what I'm saying here? Okay, so for all of you who don't necessarily have the correct backing of what it is, who cares? You know that you don't have it. Don't let that stop you. Continue to progress and then start working about this stuff in the background. You see what I'm saying? That's all you got to do. Accept where you are, and it's not bad. It's just a fact, man. I'm telling you, all right? Because like I said, once you know where you are, then it's a whole lot easier to set the trajectory, set the direction of where it is that you want to be. You can be anywhere you want to be. All you need to do is think about it and backwards plan. I'm letting you know right now that my core values have opened up every room that I have been allowed into. If there is one that opened up because I had the qualifications for it, I don't even remember what it is, man, because I've never had the proper qualifications to get into the rooms that I've been in. But I'll tell you right now is once I get into that room, I learn the things that I need to know, because that is part of one of my core values, is constantly learning, right? Is to absorb it and retain it, because that is one of my core values. Is I don't want to just learn things like if I was checking off the box, you know what I'm saying? Like they be doing in college when you first out of high school, and you just cram just so that you can remember what it is you need to remember for an hour later. Once you pass that test, it just disappears. No. Not only do I want to learn things, but I want to internalize it. And then as practice, what I do is I teach somebody else. I don't even care if it's going to benefit them necessarily, like they're going to be doing them tasks, but I teach it to somebody else, because that way I know that I really know it. Now, I never had to verbalize those things, right? Because too many people say that I'm this type of person. I got these kind of values. I got these situations. I'm this type of person, but their actions are speaking totally different, right? Their actions aren't necessarily saying what it is that their words is saying. That's because their values and what they know are not necessarily aligned, right? Is that I've seen so many people, super duper, like way more institutionalized intellectuals than I am, right? And I don't even know if I said that right. So fantastic, because I just underlined my point about how I ain't really as smart as them, right? But I've had these people who were super duper smart people who understood process, but in the practical application of it, it gets lost somewhere. You see what I'm saying? So I don't care about how much institutionalized education you have. There's a point for it, right? There's a purpose for it. I ain't knocking institutionalized education. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying if that's something that's holding you back, and if it's not necessarily going to college to get your associates, your bachelor's, your master's, your PhD, all that, if that ain't it, if it's just you ain't got the prerequisites of what it is to enter this room, you're supposed to have 5 years experience, kids. Sorry, closing the door. Apply anyway. Oh, you're supposed to have a track record of it. Apply anyway. I'm telling you right now, listen, that last story I told you about the personal training, that was a success story, right? Because I stayed working there for I forget how many years after that, right? But just the story about getting me in the room, I was 18 years old. And because I knew how to rock my resume, right? Because I paid attention. I started Google. I don't even think Google was around that time, right? But I started checking out all these different type of resumes. And I found one that looked the best. I don't know nothing about resumes. I'm just telling you right now that this resume writing mind was able to look, and I picked one out. I said, this one here, this one jumped out at me. And that's the effect I wanted on my resume, right? So that's what I did is I took that resume, used the exact format, and just made mine out of it. Boom, got in the room. Boom, I got in the room. You don't understand. You know how many other people who are way more educated than me, who are way more understanding, who had way more experience, who had a much better track record than me, who didn't get that interview, but because I did my research, I didn't focus on what I don't know. I just stuck to my values, and I said, my name is Pablo Rivera. Watch me make it happen. And that's where I'm trying to get you to. Listen, I'm telling you right now, life is all about trials and errors. You know what I'm saying? You got to try. If you don't try, you'll never have the opportunity to succeed in whatever it is that you're trying to do. So start trying. You need to rip all those things that you know that you ain't got and throw them away, right? At least just throw them to the side. You know what I mean? To the left, right? That's what you need to do. Is take all those things, put it in the closet, move it to the left, right? You'll come back to those. You're going to work on those. But right now, what you need to do is just focus on them core values, because the core values is what's going to get you in the room, all right? And that's where it is. I hope that this message motivated you. I hope that this message inspired you. And I hope that you make today the springboard to be able to catapult you in creating all the rest of your days to be phenomenal. My name is Paulo Rivera, and watch me make it happen.
Plans and the execution, you notice. Ain't no time to think about it, only time to react. Your intuition under pressure, weigh it down on your back. I scribble thoughts in my palm, I sing it when I get home. Organize my inner visions while I'm chilling and calm. A politician's mind state, that means I'm nice on my speech. Plus I peep the government, wait for my knowledge to peak. I'm crazy nice with my skills, I spit the shit that y'all feel. For any rapper who approach me, better pack you a meal. Yeah, check it out. It's been 13 years of my flow. Let me say that again. 13